Good evening, thank you for joining us. The government has today confirmed plans for the second phase of the high-speed rail route HS2 to Leeds, but there's still no decision on where the line will run through South Yorkshire. Now, we already know it'll travel from London up to Birmingham, and work could start on that in the next 6 months. From there, there'll be a line from Crewe to Manchester, but it's the line on our side of the Pennines that's causing controversy.
It certainly is. While other parts of the route have been decided, the way through South Yorkshire is still up in the air. Originally, the idea was a station at Meadowhall to serve Sheffield, Rotherham, Barnsley and Doncaster. But Sheffield wanted a station in the city centre. Their argument was it would bring more business into Sheffield and help the other towns. A new route was proposed that would send the line further east, with a spur through Chesterfield and Sheffield on existing tracks. But that meant the main HS2 line going through a housing estate in Doncaster. People there aren't happy about that, and the council isn't either. Today, we thought there would be a decision on which route was best, but HS2 and the government say they'll consult a bit more and make a call next year. Tom Ingle is live at that housing estate for us now. It's all yours, Tom.
Good evening, Harry. You're quite right. Today, the government coloured in almost everything on the map to do with HS2 in ink, apart from South Yorkshire, where they've still got to use pencil. And that's because of this late proposed route change, which was only unveiled by HS2 in July. That's the company building the rail link. Before that, of course, they'd been promoting this Meadowhall option. Now they're saying, let's build a spur line into Sheffield city centre instead, and that means rerouting the main line right the way through this housing estate, which is still being built. And some people have only moved in a matter of months or a couple of years ago at most. Some of them thought they were buying a forever home. They could find their home disappearing in the next 20 years or so. Now, today, the government was supposed to make a decision about the whole route. What they said about South Yorkshire is, well, we like this new plan, we like it to consult on it, but not enough to commit to it.
Construction work continues on the Shimmer estate, and so does the uncertainty. Some here are speaking up, some want to move out. You'll be going some to find a pro-HS2 voice here, but what they do want is a decision.
I mean, my daughter, she's so upset by all this, and as you can probably appreciate, she thought 2 years ago, she thought she'd found a home for life, and she hasn't.
Progress has to go on, but it shouldn't compromise people's lifestyles or affect the way in which they live.
We just feel very, very let down by both the government and HS2 themselves.
The company designing HS2 have told the government building a spur line into the existing Sheffield station and rerouting the main line could save £1 billion. But a consultation on the plans will take place. Theoretically then, the original Meadowhall station option may be only sleeping, not dead after all. Some decisions have been made. Leeds will get an interchange station between HS2 and the current rail network. Apprentices and councillors are on board.
In the future, when this potentially gets built, we'll be able to contribute to that, and we might even have specific roles.
There's projects like the John Lewis on the other side of Leeds. They're bringing a lot of investment, and it's fantastic for people's jobs.
This is great news for the North, the first railway for over 100 years, and long last we're going to invest in what has been a very decrepit, disappointing rail system around the North.
We have put together this report.
A string of villages in between Doncaster and Rotherham are affected by the route change. Together, they've compiled a report disputing HS2's figures on costs and the number of houses that might be demolished. Their voices are in chorus with local politicians.
This isn't high-speed rail into Sheffield, it's going to be low speed. This isn't 5 or 6 trains an hour, it's 2 trains an hour. This doesn't connect to Leeds. It's a project that the HS2 themselves said in 2014 wouldn't provide the economic benefits to the whole of South Yorkshire. I'm just taking HS2 at their word, and that's why we're saying the government should think again.
Whatever route they take, wherever they call, high-speed trains aren't expected to reach Yorkshire until 2033. Long enough for parents of young families who live on Shimmer to have grown up or become grandparents. Certainly long enough for the estate to be lost to memory.
If there is one upside of today's non-announcement for the people who live on the Shimmer housing estate, it's that now the consultation is underway on the line coming through this part of the world. They can apply for compensation if they want to try and move out of their homes. Now, a lot of political reaction tonight as well. Essentially, in Doncaster, they are absolutely against this new route, but in Sheffield, the City Council and the Chamber of Commerce are for it.
Tom, thank you very much indeed for that. Now, part of the route that has changed is at Woodlesford, which is south-east of Leeds.
Yes, the original plan was for the line to Leeds to run north of the village along the River Aire on a viaduct. That's now been shelved in favour of a tunnel that'll run a kilometre beneath Woodlesford itself. Now, James Vincent is live for us there. James, what's been the reaction to this? It's good news, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the people in Woodlesford, Amy, have been through the consultation process that people in Mexborough in Doncaster are about to start going through. They heard 3 years ago that the route would go straight past the village, yards away from some people's houses, on a huge viaduct. They went through the consultation process, there were appeals, and they put other suggestions forward. We've heard today that instead of that viaduct going across the River Aire and past Woodlesford, there'll be a tunnel, a mile-long tunnel will be burrowed underneath Woodlesford to try and minimise some of that disruption. There will of course be disruption while they dig that tunnel, but in terms of house prices here, people are very happy. I've been speaking to one of the campaigners and I asked him what it felt like this morning when he heard what the route would actually be.
It's a burden taken off our shoulders. The last 3 years we haven't been able to get on with our lives. We've had the HS2 hanging over us, literally hanging over us, 45 foot up on a concrete viaduct. So this morning it was absolutely fantastic.
Some people still aren't happy though, are they, James?
No, winners and losers seems to be a theme of HS2 at the moment. So people in Woodlesford happy about the tunnel, but just half a mile down the road is Swillington, and where the line goes to Sheffield, goes to Leeds now, it will actually branch off and go up towards York to the East Coast main line, and that route going across that way to Swillington will actually still have quite a large viaduct going over a lot of farmland. I've been to Swillington Organic Farm as well today to speak to Ed. He runs the place and he says, well, he's consigning himself to be the loser in the winners and losers argument.
What they've announced today is a tunnel under Woodlesford, which will help some residents. Obviously there's still going to be the blight of that being constructed, and you're still going to have this viaduct, which they've now said is going to be over 2 kilometres long and over 90 feet high as it comes through here, which, whatever way you look at it, that's going to be a massive blight on the landscape and a massive blight to residents as they try and build this sort of massive thing through the countryside.
So some people in West Yorkshire very happy tonight, just half a mile down the road, still not happy at all. Woodlesford will get a tunnel. People in Mexborough might be looking at West Yorkshire and thinking, if they're getting a tunnel, why can't we?